So as you rightly said, Ibrahim is genetically gifted. At the same time, he was shooting for 2 other films also, which is obviously not yet spoken about. But there was a lot of like, okay, for this film he has to look like this, in this film he has to look like this. So there was a lot of, we were pausing this, then working on this, then pausing this and working on this. Shreyas anyways is a very disciplined person if you meet him. So there's nothing like cheat or not cheat and all with him. His food itself is very clean. He loves his South Indian food, he loves his lamb, mutton, all of it, yeah. He will never let you say anything negative about yourself, let alone about him, but even about yourself. And he'll make it a point to correct you. He is extremely positive, and I think that's what drives him. Like he doesn't need anything external because he's internally so confident and not in an arrogant way, just in his own way, that I think that really clearly works for him. He as a person only is so disciplined that I don't have to control these things. He knows what he's doing. And if he's eating extra or eating something he's eaten a quantity that's not justified, he'll let me know and then we'll adjust it carrying forward. Yeah. Hi, I'm Nicole Linhares Kedia and you're watching Times Entertainment.
Hi, my name is Jigar, you're on Times Entertainment and today we are with Nicole. Nicole, welcome to Fit and Fab.
Thank you.
Nicole, this was the first time we actually interviewing a nutritionist on Fit and Fab. I don't think you only are nutrition, you are actually sports, and how do you define your career?
So I'm a sports nutritionist and I'm an integrative health coach.
What does that mean?
So that means that nutrition is not single dimensional. It has many layers to it. So it's literally a lot of other aspects that goes into your health. Like it's not only what you eat, it's how you eat, how you're feeling, what your ecosystem is like. It's a lot of other things that surround just nutrition.
Okay. So when people say that, when you want to build a body, it's not just about the gymming, it's also about the food. Or as people say that abs are made in the kitchen. So that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. So what you do in the gym, of course, adds a lot of value, but that's 1 hour in the day. So the rest of the day, how you sleep, how much water you're drinking, how you're recovering, if you need to recover, what are you eating to recover.
Yeah.
So a lot depends on, as I said, your ecosystem and your food. So it is true, abs are made in the kitchen.
Okay, fine. Now, when I was interviewing one of my earlier guests on my show, Robin, he told me that you were the one who was helpful in Ibrahim Ali Khan getting his abs.
Correct.
For the film his Nadanya.
Yes.
What went into getting Ibrahim those abs? Because he's actually a skinny guy. He's not skinny in the sense that he's a thin guy and has very good genes, is what I've been told.
Yeah.
Now, how do you get into the picture and make him look a picture perfect in a film?
So as you rightly said, Ibrahim is genetically gifted. So it was easy because, as you said, he already had that kind of body, but he needed, of course, a little bit more camera aesthetic sense. He needed a little more definition, if I would say. So we had to work on that. At the same time, he was shooting for 2 other films also, which is obviously not yet spoken about. But there was a lot of like, okay, for this film he has to look like this, in this film he has to look like this. So there was a lot of, we were pausing this, then working on this, then pausing this and working on this. So a lot of that happened. But Ibrahim, though of course he's notorious and he's a young boy and of course has all his distractions, when it came to shoot days and when it came to he knew he had to perform, he was very disciplined. He would be like that young boy calling us up in the middle of the night saying, listen, I really want to eat this, or I want to do this. So it was fun. But Robin, being Robin, knew how to keep him grounded and tell him that nobody, no means no. So it made my job a lot easier at that point of time because I was still forming a relation with Ibrahim and it takes time. As I said, like for me, it's about getting to know the client, understanding and adapting to how that client lives.
Yeah.
And working into their ecosystem. So once we had that connect, it became very easy.
Okay. Now, Ibrahim is on one side. He's an actor. You also trained. You also Shreyas Iyer is also one of your clients.
Correct.
Now, how do you adjust between the two of them? Because one is an actor who has to show his body for few days or few hours in a film.
Correct.
Right. On other day, you have someone who's an athlete, who's a player, who represents India, who represents a particular team in the IPL, and his entire career is based on that fitness levels, which has to sustain for 20 plus years. How do you adjust these two?
So as you said, like it's completely different. The science is the same, but one is preparing for say in Ibrahim or any celebrity is preparing for a body that's more aesthetic value, more for the camera, more just definition or looking sharp and crisp on screen, and obviously a little bit more fuel for say a long night shoot or just power throwing that. When it comes to sports, you're working on performance. That's your major goal. Performance, recovery, injury prevention. Making sure that your client does not get injured should be actually something that's on top of your list. Because they move through, if you see in the last 6 months, there was England series, there was ODI, T20, Champions League, IPL. So you just have to make sure that their recovery is on point, they're eating, and also sport does that to you. You're innately disciplined, and you know what is ahead. So you yourself, Shreyas anyways is a very disciplined person if you meet him. So there's nothing like cheat or not cheat and all with him. His food itself is very clean. That's how he eats.
Okay, so in an old interview of Shreyas, his mother said that his comfort food is sambar, rasam, potato curry, papad and rice, though not at night. Now, how have you changed this to? What have you changed this to now? Well, what is he eating in the IPL right now, let's say?
So the roots are pretty much the same. A little bit of the South Indian touch to it, but there's nothing wrong with what he's eating here, what you mentioned. But of course, there's a lot more protein that's added to it. There is rasam, there will be potatoes. All of that is good for you because it's not like they need the energy to sustain, right? They play a match, they have a day. Sometimes last week, say it was you had only 1.5 days, and plus they have travel, which takes a lot on your body. You've finished a match, you've come back, the next day you get up, you have to travel to another city. So there's a lot that's focused on recovery. So what's changed is there's of course more balance added to it, there's more vegetables. But in terms of cuisine, he's still a very soul food. He loves his South Indian food, he loves his lamb, mutton, all of it,
Now, how do you strike a balance? Like, for example, there was a 1 week gap between the IPL. There was a 1 week holiday or a gap or what you want to call it in the IPL. And then again, the match begins completely. So how do you adjust? Because at one point, because there is a break, people didn't know how long the break was going to be. And at that point, players like Shreyas probably may not feel like, okay, I don't know when it's going to begin next. I probably like to just indulge myself. How do you strike balance between indulgence and discipline? Because very soon you might have to just start playing again.
So with all my cricketers, I feel like, as I said, sport does this to you, where you innately know when you need to get into the zone and when you know your body. They know that they have to be capable if the match starts tomorrow. They know that they have to perform. They don't have an option. Right? So the amount, and I'm also not that traditional believer that, you can't eat this completely and all. You work your way through. If your foundation is strong, a cheat meal here and there won't throw you off.
Okay.
So as long as your foundation is strong throughout the year, that occasional on and off 1 day, 2 days, 1 week will not set you back the way you're thinking that it would. They come back to it very quickly. They know, they'll be like, 3 days, don't disturb us. we are going to do what we have to do. So then I'm like, okay, waiting, hoping it's not too bad. But then when they come back, then whatever you say, they listen.
But has it happened that when this client comes back to you, A, B, C, and then they're like, what have you done in the last 1 week?
Yeah, that's my conversation. That I always like, why did you do this? Now this. But as I said, it's within the framework. It's nothing like, oh my God, as sports people, they have that sense of responsibility themselves. That's not even, luckily that's not part of I don't have to do it to that level, but of course you'll be like, Arey, why did you do it to this level? Or like you'll have that little bit of being strict with them or like trying to tighten up, but otherwise it's just a laugh here and then we are back to routine.
Okay, between actors and athletes, who is far more difficult to manage their diets?
Difficult? I don't think that's an actor or a cricketer or a normal client. That's very personality based, and also it depends on the amount of stress or the amount of the timeline that we have. But in my experience, I feel like we've managed it beautifully, be it an actor, be it a cricketer. I don't think one is more difficult. It depends on their situation, because nutrition is so personal. It depends on how your body is reacting to things. How much have we already figured out? How much do we need to figure out? Nowadays, the amount of science that there is to know your body is endless. So it also helps me a lot. Like now you have DNA testing, you have food allergy lists, you have everything to help support for us to, from the beginning, eliminate a lot of things if it doesn't suit us. So it depends where a client is already in that journey and how much work is left to do versus how much work is already done.
Oh, wow. Okay, now let's say, for example, today Shreyas has a very big match. So will he call you and say that, Nicole, today's a big day, what should I have, what should I not have?
I already know when his games are. I feel like I'm aware of when the games are. So I will only call him up and tell him that today's match day, this is the schedule that we've planned, and he's very trusting. So once he's like, now it's been so long, he knows that whatever I've set, he'll have. If he needs to give me feedback, there'll be a day where he'll call me and be like, on a free day or an off day, he'll call me and say like, listen, this didn't work for me. So now next time, don't give me this. But otherwise, I take full charge of planning his menu. The team talks to his chef. Everything is coordinated. He doesn't even. Earlier, I used to send him his menu cards every daily, but now I don't even do that because I feel like we've crossed that bridge where it's like.
And how did you the two of you cross paths?
Actually, I'll give credit to his coach Sagar. He was. I work with him. He works with a lot of our other clients also in the IPL or in the cricket team. So he referred me to Shreyas, and that's how we first met.
So when you met him, were you starstruck?
No, not at all. I'm not starstruck as a person. But of course, I love sports. I love cricket. So in terms of that, I enjoy the sport. So I love whoever I meet, and I have lots to learn from them as well. So yeah, not starstruck.
Okay. So what's that one thing that you've taken from Shreyas? One characteristic that you've picked up from Shreyas?
He's too positive.
Yeah?
He will never let you say anything negative about yourself, let alone about him, but even about yourself. And he'll make it a point to correct you.
Really?
Yeah. Like even if I like, I'm having a bad day, there's so much, he's like, you have so much, you should be thankful. Don't say it like that. So he's one of the most positive people I've met.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a rarity now in today's day and age, as how I feel.
He is extremely positive, and I think that's what drives him. Like he doesn't need anything external because he's internally so confident and not in an arrogant way, just in his own way, that I think that really clearly works for him, right?
True, it is working for him. So in an old interview I was reading of that about his family gave, and his mother loves feeding him. So have you had a chat with his mother ever?
Yet. No, I haven't. But when it's my off day or whatever, the chef will tell me that aaj mummy khana whatever bana rahi hai. So then he can, as I said, you have your days where you can do what you want. But he as a person only is so disciplined that I don't have to control these things. He knows what he's doing. And if he's eating extra or eating something he's eaten a quantity that's not justified, he'll let me know and then we'll adjust it carrying forward.
Nicole, I do know that you not only have actors as your client or cricketers, you also have industrialists, you also have other kind of athletes. Probably half the profession that you can think of are clients of yours. What do you do differently with them?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because I've never spoken about it. But when I got into nutrition, I've been a former athlete myself, and I understand the power of food. But I did see a huge gap, like a big lacune, in the fact that everybody today wants to get healthy, but they don't have the time to. And it doesn't have to be just actors or industrialists. I mean, them of course. And in general, say you and me, like we have so much going on in our life. that our mind wants to get to being healthy, but we don't have the ecosystem to create it. So that's when I started my company, and I said, okay, I want to change this narrative, and I started my company called NBN, Nutrition by Nicole, where we customize nutrition for clients, where there's a entire holistic approach to it, from the fact that we clean their kitchens, we order produce from them, sourcing the best produce, send them grocery lists, train their staff, not only hiring the best chefs, because not everyone wants to spend that kind of money or afford that. So anybody, training your house Maharaj to training your private chef, teaching them about nutrition, teaching them how to plan exchanges and menus, and sending them daily menus of what our clients are eating with recipe cards for the next day. And I feel for me that completely changed the game when it comes to my company and what we do. And also understanding that my relation with my clients are, because it's so personalized, it's so personal, because I would probably know when they're having a good day, when they're having a bad day, what they're doing, who they're meeting, is why I feel I've never ever spoken about it, or I don't talk too much about my clients, is because I feel like when the time's right and when they need it, they will talk about it. But in general, keeping things a little more private, because food is private.
Yeah.
Like food is an emotion, as I said, and it's not only about nutrition. I hear so much about the other aspects of their day, when they're not well, what are we doing in those cases, when they're too burnt out, when they've had a long night, when they've had various things. So I feel like that's what NBN does, gives them personalized nutrition. Not only nutrition, if you're not feeling well, if you're not doing okay, getting the best doctors together, creating an ecosystem that works for you. So that's pretty much been NBN's journey, and I'm